Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to the recap and breakdown. Today we have UFC Fight Night Manel Kape versus Almabayev, which just took place on Saturday, March the 1st, 2025. It wrapped up a couple hours ago, but I thought I'd just take some time, take a breather, think about what I just saw, and then I'd relay it back to you guys for the recap. We're going to start with the prelims and with the main event, just give some detailed prediction or detailed breakdowns on what happened on each fight. And I'll let you know how my picks went. Let's go. First prelim opener of Ramazan Tamerov versus Charles Energy Johnson. I took Charles Johnson inside of this fight. I thought Charles Johnson's frame was going to be too much for Tamerov. I didn't think he was going to get knocked out. I thought he was going to be able to push the pressure a little bit against Tamerov in the later stages of the fight. I thought he was going to lose round one and end up winning rounds 2 and 3. I thought he was going to be able to maybe break down Tamerov and force a little bit of that, longer fight style that he's not really used to. The last 5 fights ending inside of the first round. He's probably coming into it overly confident, hoping that he takes Charles Johnson out, enters the rankings, and unfortunately, he will be entering the top 15. Charles Johnson doesn't unfortunately lose the first 2 rounds. Johnson thought he did win. I thought it was a close second round, but I did give the edge to Tamerov. It just wasn't enough for Johnson. It wasn't enough landing, and the better strikes were coming from Ramazan Tamerov. It was just more precision, just better strikes, better fluidity, and Tamerov was able to backpedal away from most of the damage from Charles Johnson. Johnson just kind of seemed like he was sitting in front of him a little too long, taking too long to decide what he wanted to throw. Kind of followed too much, and even when he tried to cut Tamerov off, it didn't really work. He kind of just, moved out of the position and was able to get away, and they ended up just kind of pitter-patting Charles Johnson to a long decision. We're going to move on next to the prelims, J.J. Aldrich versus Andrea Lee. Exactly how you thought it was going to go. Andrea Lee should not even have opened. Mind you, this line opened even. If you're a degenerate, like most people that watch the UFC at this point, most people are betting because of all those DraftKings ads that are on there at this point. JJ Aldrich, man, was like the bet of the week. Andrea Lee is not going to win this fight. First off, 3-time Muay Thai world champion, and Andrea Lee can't keep Aldrich off of her. She can't throw leg kicks. She can't slip a 1-2. Aldrich is literally specifically just throwing a 1-2 down the pipe, maybe a calf kick once in a while, and Lee's getting cracked with everything. She can't slip off to the side and throw a leg kick. She can't slip off to the side and throw a counter hook. She's not listening to her corner advice. It's going in one ear, out the other. You have her husband or her boyfriend or whoever it is, yelling on the side. It's not helping her at all. She's a older fighter, 13-11, loses the last 6 in a row. Get the fuck out of the UFC, man. Quit. You're done. Hey, listen, if you're losing to Montana De La Rosa, which, I thought Andrea Lee won that fight, but if you're losing to Montana De La Rosa, you're making it close enough to where it's a split decision. You're losing to these girls that, like, dude, Miranda Maverick has been in the UFC way too fucking long. Okay, this lady is not gone anywhere. Roxanne Modafferi too. Like, you lost to the Happy Warrior. Are you serious? Like, is this real life right now? Are we really talking about the same person? Like, I didn't get it. Whatever, it is what it is. Casey O'Neill too, losing a fucking, or almost losing a split decision to the Happy Warrior. Jesus Christ, guys. What are we doing here? Anyway, Andrea Lee gets nowhere. She can't find any rhythm. She loses, in my opinion, 30-27. Someone gave her a round, kind of. What round do you give her? I don't know. Maybe round 1. I don't know. That's the only close round I could think of, but Andrea Lee didn't use any of her skill set that you think she'd use, and I picked J.J. Aldrich by decision. Perfect. And she gets it done. Aldrich doesn't look that great. Her takedown attempts are pretty lackluster. Andrea Lee was able to get up on most of them. I think there was only one where she was taken down for maybe 15 seconds, and she got right back up. Like, it's just kind of terrible. The boxing from Aldrich isn't that good either. She has a Taekwondo background. Looks like she's just barely started in striking. It's definitely going to be a problem for her at 125. She fights any better striker, she's going to get tagged and probably put out if they have any type of power. We're going to move on next in the prelims. Danny Silva versus Lucas Almeida. I thought Danny Silva won. I thought it was 29-28. It seemed pretty clear to me. Lucas Almeida getting some love from some of the judges after he makes a little bit of a comeback in the rounds 2 and 3. He seems like he gets a little bit of a boost from his corner, a little bit more output. But I think Danny Silva just put the pressure on too much. I think he controlled the octagon well. I think when it came down to the power, it was pretty similar. I think when it came down to the damage, it was pretty similar. So octagon control probably won him the fight. Lucas Almeida just consistently backing up, and Danny Silva forcing the issue is won him the fight, basically. Lucas Almeida just didn't look as stiff as I saw him before. Didn't look as stiff as I said he was going to look. I thought Danny Silva was going to be able to put a knockout or a submission down on Lucas Almeida. Didn't end up happening. Lucas Almeida does have most of his win or losses by decision now at this point. He did have 1-1-1. But he just seems like a type of guy that gets caught in bad situations when we're in close stand-up. Like, Danny was throwing shit, and Lucas wasn't even seeing any of it inside the first round. He was just getting cracked by everything. And if Danny Silva recognized that, he probably could have put him out. But Silva just doesn't recognize that Lucas Almeida is just not in rhythm yet. He's not in flow. And unfortunately doesn't get the knockout, but he still does get a good split decision win over a guy who's, in my opinion, decently rated. It puts Silva in that questionable category now of, is he really a prospect, or is he going to get torched by a newer guy? I guess we're going to have to see sooner than later. But at 145, it's nice to see another featherweight that can have an entertaining fight. But he's definitely not a guy that, at this point in his career, he can definitely make improvements. But at this point in his career, I cannot see Danny Silva making it to a top 15 position. He's just going to get torched by those guys at that point. He's just, especially in a 5-round fight, looks like he's slowing down a lot inside rounds 2 and 3. I mean, we're going to have to see. I guess next on the prelims, we have Kape Marsakel versus Ricardo Ramos. Kape wins 30-27, clear. Takedowns were very good. Didn't come far and few between, but the boxing was really good for Kape. When we were on the ground, we were having some weird positions where Ricardo was putting himself into leg lock situations where he wanted to try and grab that leg of Kape. Kape grabbed a heel hook of his own to try and get up, force a scramble, gets on top. You know, he's able to force these good positions. He's able to mix it up. He's able to kind of bring it to wherever he really wants the fight to be. There isn't really a spot where Kape is bad. He's consistently improving, and now he makes his mark inside the UFC with 5 in a row. And that's probably his best win, being Ricardo Ramos, other than Morgan Charrière or Jack Jenkins. But like, Jack Jenkins gets hurt by an arm injury. Morgan Charrière, gets a split decision loss, but I mean, Charrière is kind of ass in my opinion. I think he's shit. He has a win over Damon Jackson. Damon Jackson's kind of shit as well, kind of not good anymore in my opinion. But Ramos isn't that bad. He gave Kape some good cracks to the face. They threw down pretty well. Just was not enough for Ramos to win a round, and wasn't enough to win the fight. And Kape wins it 30-27. Fantastic fucking fight. I mean, I enjoyed it quite a lot. Most of these fights on this card were pretty fantastic. A very good display of mixed martial arts from Kape. I'm excited to see him fight again, man. This guy at 145 is a fucking problem. I mean, Kape versus Danny Silva would be a good matchup. I think that the matchup is bad for Silva. I think he loses the fight pretty clear. But I mean, you could make it interesting. The boxing from Silva could definitely be an interesting point in the fight, but I mean, Silva's got not really any takedown defense. Kape he deserves a better fight at this point. So someone that can really test his britches, because Ricardo looked like he had nothing for him. We're gonna move on. Top of the prelims: Mario Pinto versus Austin Lane, and Mario Pinto loses the first round in my opinion. Lane just kind of controlled, rocked him, dropped him. And Mario gets collected inside the time off inside that first round. His corner tells him, listen, more controlled shots. That's all you really heard from the fucking translator. But more controlled shots apparently is all we needed to hear. Austin Lane walks forward. Mario Pinto clips him. We move back a little bit, and a left and a right behind it. Right hook drops Austin Lane out cold. he was flatlined. He was seizing on the ground for a little bit. Lane's an absolute bum. So I did say if Mario Pinto did not get this knockout, I would call him a can, and he would be automatically a non-prospect. At this point, he is a fucking non-prospect still. He got dropped by Austin Lane, which is crazy. Anyone with decent takedowns, Mario Pinto's not going fucking anywhere. This guy's just too overconfident in his power. Allows the rounds to get away from him sometimes in order to download some data. And in MMA, you can't really be doing that, especially with guys like Austin Lane, who's just so big and so strong that anything he hits you with, whether he's a good fighter or not, you're going out. Like you're going out cold. And the heavyweight division is so fucking shallow. We still have Austin Lane in the UFC after getting knocked out by Justin Taffa. Like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, we're gonna start off the main card here with Sam Patterson versus Danny Left Hand to God Barlow. Now, this was one of my better picks of the week. We had Sam, the future Patterson, take out Danny Barlow. I thought it was going to be a grappling offensive approach from Sam Patterson. We heard a little bit of talk from John Anik stating that in an interview, Sam Patterson said he feels better with his aggression. He feels more confident with his punches, and he feels like he's able to take guys out again. I mean, he fucking proved it. He stands with Danny Barlow, who I thought was one of the better strikers in the division. Literally stands with him. He doesn't give a shit. Allows Danny to throw his wild stuff. Gets clipped with a couple left hands. Sam Patterson barely moves. And Danny ends up getting clipped with a left hook or a right, whatever it was. Stumbles him backwards. A right falls, or a left that misses, and then a right falls behind again. Drops Barlow. Barlow's against the cage and almost identical to the Izzy knockout with Nasruddin Imavov. Right punches to the fucking face and just puts Danny Barlow out cold. Sam Patterson walks away, screams, and fucking gets an amazing victory against a prospect that was heated, was getting a lot of love on the line, was getting a lot of love from a lot of people. Sam Patterson opened as a plus 300 underdog, closes at plus 185 after people dropped money all over it. And Sam Patterson stands over Danny Barlow as the victor, as a huge underdog in this main card. I mean, it was a fantastic win for Sam. I would have liked to see a little bit more grappling approach from him. I think he could have shot a couple times on Danny, but clearly he knew the game plan. He knew where he needed to be, and he got there. Fantastic win for Sam Patterson. Again, another hugely underrated I would say he's a prospect. Just because he got knocked out by Yanal Ashmuz, he doesn't get his day, but I think Sam Patterson's going to be a problem at welterweight. We're going to move on next on the main card. Haider Emil versus William Gomis. Split decision win for Haider Emil. I thought he won 29-28. I think William Gomis won the first round, and we get to rounds 2 and 3. He's dipping his head and still getting punched by Haider Emil, who starts to take a more calculated approach. He isn't just winging shots anymore when he gets close to the cage. William Gomis is like just moving his head, moving away, getting punched in the head, lands one or two of his own, and then starts moving away again. And Haider Emil's just a nonstop Terminator. This dude's made of fucking metal we've never heard of on Earth. He literally just walks forward. This guy has an unlimited gas tank. He did not stop. He kept walking forward, was shooting takedowns, was mixing it up, was just spinning, was throwing kicks, was throwing to the body, throwing up top. Like, he was just trying to do whatever it took to try and take William Gomis out. Now, he couldn't take him out. He landed strikes that would have taken any lesser man out. William Gomis is an absolute fucking animal. Dude's never been put out in his life. He's been submitted once inside of his career, and that was by Morgan Chechier by heel hook way back in the day, and that's because Morgan and these guys just fought in a French league. It is what it is. Gomis did end up losing that fight. He was 2-2 in his career. Ends up going on a fucking 11-fight win streak. Gets himself to the UFC. Loses to Haider Emil via a split decision where it's a really, really close fight. You have William Gomis, perfect kickboxing, still throwing switch kicks and everything inside the second and third round. Still there. It's just Haider Emil overwhelming pressure, forcing him against the cage, forcing the octagon control, forcing the more strikes, landing big combinations, not giving William Gomis time to breathe, give him maybe 2 seconds to take a deep breath and get punched in the face again. It's too overwhelming for William Gomis to deal with as a kickboxer. He's dealing with an overzealous boxer who wants to just take his lights out. Isn't willing to take no for an answer. And when you're fighting a guy like that, you have big problems as William Gomis. You have a guy that, honestly, if it wasn't William Gomis and it was any other guy at 145, they would wilt. They would will. William Gomez has a heart of a warrior. He really does. He does. And Haider Emil has no quit. It's amazing to me that William Gomez was even standing. Haider Emil took a lot of strikes, got knocked down, I believe, once. I'm pretty sure inside the first round, or maybe just slipped. But spinning attacks from both men, huge strikes landing, both guys getting rocked, still standing, still fighting, still swinging, and Haider Emil takes it away. I mean, I agree with the decision. A lot of people thought they got robbed. Not me, though. But let's talk about a robbery right here. Nasrat Hakparas versus Esteban Ribovic. Ribovic outlanded him in rounds 2 and 3. Now, granted, Hakparas did land the cleaner strikes in round 2. Landed the harder strikes, but was just kind of shelling up, just allowing Ribovic to land strikes through the guard. Ribovic did end up losing a split decision. Unfortunate. And you have Nasrat Hakparas, who's just a guy that I think is overrated at this point. People were saying he's underrated. This is a guy who fucking lost to Jared Gordon, in my opinion. It looks like he falls apart inside the second and third round, which, guess what? He did it again against Esteban Ribovic. Ribovic was just cracked from the first round. Seemed like he was still getting his wits about him inside that second round and got it through, like, about second half of the second round. He was getting his wits about him. Started to land inside that flow state. Ribovic started landing through the guard of Hakparas, started to figure out his movement, started to try to cut him off. I thought he won. I really did. I thought Ribovic did enough to win. I thought he was throwing the more output. I thought he threw the better combinations, threw a little bit more damage, even though Ribovic was cut on his mouth. It is what it is. You know, like, we lose, you win some, you lose some. If Esteban would have won, it would have been a $2,000 parlay, since I won I hit literally everything else inside the fight card except for that fight. But it is what it is. Esteban Ribovic takes a bad split decision loss. Sal D'Amato fucks one of my parlays once again, and we have an unfortunate victory for Nasrat Hakparas, meaning I have to see this guy get closer and closer to a top 15 spot, which I don't think he's ever going to get. I hate this guy so much. I wish Ribovic would have won, man. That Denis Zellhuber one was crazy. I just think he deserves it more. Whatever. It is what it is. Co-main event of the evening. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure to drop a like if you haven't already. Cody Brundage against Julian Marquez. Cody Brundage takes him out. I picked Cody Brundage as an underdog. He opened as a plus 120 or plus 140 against Julian Marquez. I had Cody Brundage by knockout at a plus 250, and you get what you deserve, Julian. These guys were training partners. Cody Brundage gets rocked really, really bad inside the first round. Starts to recover. Both mouthpieces are flown out of both men's mouths. Cody Brundage lands a big knee. Mark Smith stops the action, gives him the mouthpieces back for both of them. We continue the fight, and Cody Brundage clips Julian Marquez with a big strike, puts him down, and just hammer fists the shit out of Julian Marquez for about 20 to 30 seconds until the ref stops the fight. Yeah, Marquez is 9-6. He's lost 4 in a row, all by knockout. Yeah, he's done. He's best win inside the UFC is Sam Alvey. Yeah, you're done, bud. Your career inside the UFC is over. Very unfortunate. We do wish you a very happy ending, but yeah, it's unfortunately over. I don't know what else Julian Marquez can really do. He's got nothing left in him. I mean, he cracked Cody with a nice shot, but if Cody fights like he did tonight against these other guys that are coming up in the middleweight division, he might actually have a better fucking chance, man. Like, he looked pretty good, but let me tell you, not a great look for Julian Marquez. Really unfortunate. Anyway, we're going to move on to the main event of the evening. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. I do these every single week. I do predictions and breakdowns on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. I also do the betting talk every single Thursday. Try and get you guys some props and parlays to win you guys some money. This week, all the best bets hit. I'm pretty sure most of the parlays hit. Only thing that did not hit is Ribovic and Johnson. That's unfortunate that Johnson could not get it done, but most of the time, the last 2 weeks, we've lost on those best bets as far as I'm concerned, and we finally starting the run right in March. Anyway, main event of the evening, Manel Kape versus Azu Almabayev. Manel Kape just torches Almabayev. I mean, a lot of fouls on the side of Manel Kape. He landed probably 4 eye pokes, if I'm not mistaken, and one again by... Okay, listen, he beat Bruno Silva, kicked him in the dick, and then finished him. Okay, great. Bruno Silva kicked him in the dick like 5 times before that, so I can understand that. Azu Almabayev didn't foul at all. Played by the rules. Manel Kape drags and rakes his eye. Okay, Almabayev does this. Okay, cool. Pokes him again in the same combo. Rakes, comes by, pokes, punches. Azu complains. Manel just ends the fight. Like, I would have liked to see the ref maybe step in. Mike Beltran's kind of a piece of shit. As far as I'm aware, he's one of the fucking LAPD officers, a part of that LAPD officer specific gang that was notoriously violent. I do believe he has associations with that group. He's kind of a piece of shit, kind of a shitty ref. I liked him before. He's kind of dropping the ball more recently. I don't like the fact that we're not taking points for fouls. I don't like the fact that we're not enforcing the rule set. Like, if you don't want the rules, get rid of the rules. I don't understand what we're doing here. But Manel Kape does get the win. As number 6 in the world, probably going to move up to number 4 after being the number 8, and probably going to end up fighting a rematch or getting some good fight against Kai France that he's been begging for recently. You know, I guess we'll see. But unfortunate loss for Azu Almabayev. I did pick Manel Kape to win by knockout. I did think it was going to be a round 3 knockout. I don't believe Almabayev deserved that knockout there. I think he would have got knocked out eventually. It was kind of clear Manel Kape was overwhelming him. But it was a foul to start it, and it's just unfortunate to see Manel Kape get another victory stained by another distasteful foul. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already, like I said before. Once again, I will be doing UFC 313 predictions and breakdowns on Tuesday or Wednesday. Hopefully it is Tuesday. You have Ray Tassur, Joshua Van, Curtis Blades, Rizvan Kunyev. You have fucking Ozzy Diaz fighting Jordan Santos, Bruno Ferreira, Armin Petrosian. You have a really, really good fight card coming up. Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev, Alex Pereira, Magomed Ankalaev. Let me tell you, like, this is going to be a ridiculous fight card. You have Amanda Lemos, Ismin Lucindo. Fantastic fights coming your way. Again, this is all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this. Drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys all later. Peace.